It's 107.7 The Bone, baby. Huey and Bimbo, Jimbo here, reporting live from New Orleans, home of WrestleMania this weekend, this Sunday on the WWE Network. But also, we can't forget NXT TakeOver this Saturday night.
Yep.
And it's very fitting. We have a big guest with us.
That's right. We have maybe the most anticipated match of the whole weekend. We have with us Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Gargano, who is taking on his former tag team partner, Tommaso Ciampa, in an unsanctioned match.
Yep.
Johnny, thanks for coming on.
No, my pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me.
What's it been? This isn't your first go around with WrestleMania weekend and everything like that, but what's the vibe like so far, being in the Big Easy and everything?
I was in New Orleans 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I was on the Indies then.
Yeah.
And I remember New Orleans is absolutely crazy. I remember at one point we all went to Bourbon Street, and Bourbon Street is a crazy place in itself.
Yes.
But Bourbon Street, when you have like 80,000 wrestling fans in town, even crazier. Wrestling shirts everywhere.
Like blues going down up and down the street.
It's crazy because like
people knife edge chopping and
exactly. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much what's happening. But like that's the beautiful thing about WrestleMania weekend is like everywhere you go, literally grocery stores, Bourbon Street, gyms, walking out of the hotel, there's wrestling fans everywhere. And as a fellow wrestling fan my whole life, it's pretty cool. Like being at all this stuff is not lost on me. Like last year was my very first access, and walking around this building is amazing. I always compare it to Disney World for wrestling fans. That's pretty much what it is. This place is bonkers, and to see my face up on one of the posters with guys
You're right
like
at the entrance, actually. When people come in
Yeah.
access, your face is right
I'm
out
over
there.
Oh,
yeah.
I
I
swear to God.
Oh my God, I have to go look. I haven't walked around this one
Okay.
yet, so I'm definitely gonna go look at that.
Okay.
Because that's the stuff that stuff is so cool to me. Because like I'm just a wrestling fan, guys. I'm just like everyone else, but like my only difference is I can put my underwear on and fight other guys. And,
Well, it's funny you talk about like everything like that is in New Orleans and the vibe around. New Orleans is a city that we love very dearly, but it's used to having stuff come through it all the time. But even then, like it's different with WrestleMania being here. It's like it's more of a takeover than any other sort of event that comes through, other than maybe Mardi Gras.
Yep.
This is like wrestling Mardi Gras to New Orleans.
Yeah.
So it's pretty crazy just how much even they're rolling out the red carpet and they're like, no, there's a special, like, I mean, this place has hosted Super Bowls on Super Bowls, but WrestleMania is just a whole nother animal. And so is NXT TakeOver. So, that NXT TakeOver has gotten the reputation for being the show stealer of the wrestling weekends that are coming up. So how does you as a performer and one of the ones that puts on so many great matches go into that? Like, is that sort of like, hey, we want to go out there and show that we're the absolute best, they can't top us?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the you got a lot of guys in the locker room, a lot of guys and girls who have been wrestling for a very, very long time. A lot of people that haven't, but we are of the mindset that we're going to go out there and make it hard for WrestleMania the next day. We want to go out there and we want to set the bar, and that's what we do. We're going to set that bar, and you guys got to try and top it. We're not going to hold anything back. And I'm not going to say, oh, you're kind of the precursor show for WrestleMania. No. Like, TakeOver this week in New Orleans, that is our WrestleMania.
Yeah, no doubt.
So we're going to go out there, and we're going to go wild. We're going to go nuts, and it's going to be a show that people will not forget. Because for my money, the NXT roster, the NXT TakeOver card, amazing.
Incredible.
Amazing. So much talent on that roster from all over the world, all different shapes, all different sizes, all different walks of life. But guys just like me who've been wrestling for over 10 years, who are young, who are hungry, who are ready to make a name for themselves, and it's going to be wild.
I forget after which NXT event it was when Triple H was in the locker room and he just said, "You bastards!" He's like, "I said make it hard on us, don't make it impossible." But that's sort of what it's been like. But coming off on the heels of your match that you had with Andrade Cien Almas, the last TakeOver event, and for the championship, I mean, the rave reviews it got.
Yeah.
What did that mean to you? I mean, you probably grown a little bit accustomed to getting rave reviews and tag matches and stuff like that, but for this singles match for the title to be so well regarded, just what did that mean to you?
Like I am not a fan of any of my own matches. People have asked me like, oh, did you know that was something special when you were in the middle of it? You know it was something that people are going to talk about for a very, very long time. I was like, I didn't. I was just doing what I do. I was just doing my job. I was just going out there and trying to put my best foot forward and put on a show that people won't forget. People are going to remember, and I wrestle from the heart. So to go out there and have a match like that people are universally praising, people are saying amazing things about it, that's all that matters to me. For me, if you guys like it, That's all that matters. I did a good job.
Yeah.
Like I don't like any of my own matches. I'm my own worst critic. But to have a match like that and to have it, I guess transcend wrestling and have people talk about it for a very, very long time is pretty wild.
So what makes NXT? I mean, just from a fan, I feel like that hour every week is action-packed, from the promos, backstage segments, the in-ring action. I mean, there's a lot of people who would argue, say NXT is probably the most watched or most fun thing right now. So what about the show itself is what makes it a standout compared to everything else out there?
I definitely think it's the roster. I definitely think when it comes to a pure talent standpoint, we can't be topped. We can't be matched. I think we have the best roster in the world. You look at Andrade Cien Almas, guys like Aleister Black, Adam Cole. You got Ricochet coming in now.
Love Ricochet.
This guy.
It's like I've been in the ring with all of those guys many, many times, and they're some of the best wrestlers in the world. And I say the word wrestler on purpose because that's what we are.
Yeah.
We're wrestlers.
No doubt about it. Amen.
We go out there and we put our best foot forward. And like I said, I wrestle from the heart. Like we've all been doing this for over 10 years. We wrestle in front of 50 people. And we've done crazy things in front of 50 people. Now to get the chance to go out there and do things in front of 18,000 people, can only imagine what a guy like Ricochet is going to do for his very first time. I mean, I know he's done New Japan and things like that, where he's done like Tokyo Dome and huge shows, but this is really his first taste of a takeover.
Different ballgame.
And just the atmosphere and the electricity at takeover is unlike anything in the world. And for him to experience it, I'm sure he's going to go bonkers in that ladder match.
We're going to come back to NXT TakeOver and Ricochet, but I want to ask you about Daniel Bryan, because he's somebody you've drawn a lot of comparisons to recently. What does that mean to you to be compared to somebody like Daniel Bryan? And then also, what was your reaction and just your excitement level for him to be making his return?
I've been in the ring with Daniel Bryan twice.
Okay.
I wrestled him twice when I was in the Indies, and I wrestled him before he signed with WWE and after when he was released for a little bit. Whenever anyone asks me who's the best wrestler you've ever been in the ring with, I always say Daniel Bryan. And they say why, and I never have an answer for them because I'm just like, you just have to be in the ring with him. You have to experience it. He's just head and shoulders above anyone else I've ever been in the ring with, and just from a pure human being standpoint, he's just a genuinely good person. And when he won the title in WrestleMania in New Orleans last time, like it felt like we all won.
Yeah.
Like we all got, because like it was so cool because for so long he was originally the original guy where it's just he's a smaller guy who's undersized. He was never supposed to make it here, and finally he's getting his moment at WrestleMania. Like
it was cathartic.
I saw a tweet that said that Daniel Bryan walked so Johnny Gargano can run, and like I honestly say I would not be here if it wasn't for a guy like Daniel Bryan succeeding, and for him to finally just knowing him personally for him to come back and do what he loves to do, which he loves wrestling. Yeah. For him to do that, and it's great to see a genuinely good human being like Daniel Bryan get what he deserves, and it's amazing, and I can't wait to see what he does on Sunday. That's
so cool. Well, Johnny, listen, I know you got a busy schedule ahead of you. Real quick, I just want to ask just your thoughts on your wife now part of NXT as well.
It's amazing. Last year I was here with Tommaso doing Media Row.
Yeah.
Tonight I actually have an Access signing with my wife.
Perfect.
It'll be her very first taste of Access.
Awesome.
So I'm gonna walk around and be like, look at this, look at that. Just like I said, as a biased husband,
yes,
I'm pumped my wife has a job, but as a wrestling fan, for someone like Candice LeRae, who's been wrestling for a very, very long time, to finally get a job here, she's worked extraordinarily hard, and for my money, she's one of the best wrestlers in the world, bar none. As an unbiased wrestling fan, I'm super pumped for Candice LeRae.
Now, I remember the last time you went one-on-one with Tommaso Ciampa, and it was such a phenomenal encounter. You're on the biggest stage now for NXT. How excited are you for that match? You guys have just a phenomenal chemistry, whether it's working together or against one another. Just take us through, like, what's your vibe like?
All of that's organic too. I mean, the Cruiserweight Classic match that we had, it was Cruiserweight Classic was based on athleticism. It was based on pure wrestling ability. I said that I am not looking for a 5-star match on Saturday night. I'm just looking to beat the hell out of them.
There you go.
It's going to be a war. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be something that people are going to remember. And I'm excited, a little nervous. But, like I said, TakeOver has an electricity and an atmosphere unlike anything else. And I'm sure all those people in that building that night chanting Johnny Wrest's going to give me exactly what I need.
That's awesome.
No doubt about it. Thank you so much.
Johnny,
problem,
thank you
guys.
so much. So
Thank you,
encourage
guys.
everyone to watch TakeOver this Saturday night on the WWE Network. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.